I'm very happy that you are watching this lesson. I'm teacher Katimbo Richard. I then welcome you to term 3 work, and today we are starting with a new lesson, of course, and a new topic that is called money. You know money, so it's what I've brought so that you can count your money properly without being cheated, and then you will be a perfect person on this planet for people who need that money. So the question is, what is money? Money is the medium of exchange. Money is the medium of exchange. Of course, not forgetting that you need to have got a workbook from school in order to follow this lesson and the series of lessons that will follow thereafter. That is in future. You need to have that workbook. If you don't have yourself a copy, then rush to school. Let's train up a child and get yourself a copy so that we go together. So in this lesson, we are covering pages 3 all the way to page 6 of our workbook. That's P5 term 3. I said money is the medium of exchange, so it's used for acquisition of what you don't have. For example, if you want to have a radio, you get hold of your money worth a radio, go where the radios are sold from, select yourself the suitable copy that is in terms of the value of your money, and go and listen, start enjoying whatever the radio must give you. So ensure you have the money. So whatever you need that you don't have is only acquired when you have your money. So that's why we say that is the medium of exchange. It's the medium of exchange. Now we are going to look at examples. We normally start from known to unknown. So I know you may be knowing some of these. If you don't know them, learn them from me, and then you become a perfect P5 member who qualifies to be a P5 member. That is, we start the first example, and so does it read. Angela bought 2 skirts at 12,000 shillings. Find the amount she would pay for 5 similar skirts. That is at the same rate. So if 2 skirts of the same size, of the same material, the same make, and the same production, that is cost 12,000 shillings. Find the amount this Angela would pay for 5 similar skirts. Now, we align this proportion. It's called a direct proportion, like we did in the second terms where we say 2 skirts cost 12,000 shillings. Then the cost of 1 skirt you divide by 2. So the 12,000 shillings divided by 2. Then you cancel properly by 2, you get 1. By 2, that's 12, you get 6. And all the zeros, so 1 skirt costs 600 shillings. Then find the cost of 5 skirts by multiplying by the cost of 1. So 5 skirts cost 5 times 6,000 shillings. Where 5 times 6 you get 30. Then bring all these 3 zeros here and get 30,000 shilling cost. So 5 skirts of the same material, the same make, and the same production do cost 30,000 shillings. And that's how we do that number proportionally and directly. As we look at the second example today, if the cost of 1 kilogram of omo is 5,600 shillings, find the cost of 3 kilograms at the same rate. So this is multiplication of money. So this one combined, the division and multiplication. This is only multiplication of money. So 1 kilogram costs, so it is the cost of 1 kilogram of omo. Yes, 1 kilogram costs 5,600 shillings. Find the cost of 3 kilograms. That's 3 times 5,600 shillings. So you multiply. So Multiplication with numbers ending with zeros, very easy. First, leave out the zeros, bring them on the answer. Just multiply 56 by 3. And say 3 times 6 is 18, write 8 to the group 1. And say 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16. So thereby bring back our 2 zeros here, left here, and get 16,800 shilling cost. So the cost of 3 kilograms of the same or more is 16,800 shillings. And now, part B is connected to this same question. If the cost of 1 kilogram of omo is 5,600 shillings, find the cost of 2.5 kilograms of the same omo. So still multiplication of money, but this time using a mixed fractional quantity. So we multiply quantity by amount to get quantity by the unit cost. Unit cost means cost per that item. So quantity times unit cost, you get that amount. So we go 1 kilogram costs 5,600 shillings. What about 2.5 kilograms? That's 2.5 times to 5,600 shillings. Then you convert the 2.5 to an improper fraction. You multiply 2 by 2 plus 1. 2 times 2 is a 4 plus 1. You get 5 out of 2 times 5,600. Answer in shillings. You divide by 2 once. 5 by 2 you get 2, remainder 1. 16 by 2 get 8. And then the 2 zeros up. So thereby remaining with 5 times 2,800. Like I said in the example before, multiplication by the numbers that have got zeros ending is very easy. Leave out the zeros only to bring them at the answer level. That's 28 times 5 here. Then say 5 times 8 is 40, write 0, remove 4. Then 5 times 2 is a 10 plus 4, you get 14. So I've got 140 before we add on other 2 zeros. So that the answer is of 3 zeros now. So 2.5 kilograms of the same omo do cost 14,000 shillings if they are of the same amount. So therefore, we go to the third example for today. The cost of 7 bars of soap is 35,000 shillings. 7 bars of soap cost 35,000 shillings. Find the cost of each bar. So we have gone into another operation of division of money. So we get the cost of 1, that is the unit cost, by getting the amount divided by the quantity. Amount for all divided by the quantity 7. So you get the cost of 1. So we divide that 35,000 divided by 7. By writing out of 7, I'm meaning division by 7. So we say 7 divided by 7 is 1. 35 divided by 7 is a 5. 0 divided by 7 is a 0. So the other 2 zeros. So 1 bar of soap. 1 bar of soap costs 5,000 shillings. And that is all. So all in all, you get a unit cost by getting the amount divided by the quantity. So that is how we deal with that. As we look at the fourth example, then we shall look at number 3. The cost of 7 bars of soap is 35,000 shillings. Find the cost of each bar of soap. So all the 7 bars of soap cost 35,000 shillings. So one is required to find the cost of only 1 bar. So to get the unit cost, you get the total cost divided by the quantity. The total cost divided by the quantity, that is total cost is 35,000 shillings divided by how many bars? So you get 35,000 shillings divided by 7 and then cancel or divide by 7. 7 divided by 7 once, 35 divided by 7, you get 5. 0 divided by 7 is a 0. And then these are the zeros or so. So 1 bar of soap costs 5,000 shillings. And then we go to example number 4. The cost of 1 heap of oranges is 6,000 shillings. If each orange costs 500 shillings, how many oranges are in each heap? It reads again. The cost of 1 heap of oranges is 6,000 shillings. If each orange costs 500 shillings, how many oranges are in each heap? So this is a question. We've got oranges that are sold in heaps, and a full heap costs 6,000 shillings. And given that 1 orange costs 500 shillings. So the examiner wants to know how many oranges make up each heap in case each orange is sold at the same amount, 500. So here, to get the cost of each, you get a total cost of the particular heap of all oranges, that's 1,000, divided by the cost of each orange. To get the number of oranges then, so you go 6,000 divided by 500. Answer, oranges. Then you start your cancellations. Here, cancel by 10 by 10, by 10 by 10. Whenever you cancel zeros, you're actually dividing by 10. So 2 zeros are off, so remaining 60 out of 5, or divided by 5. Now, do we divide by 5? 5 divided by 5 is 1. 6 divided by 5, 1 remainder 1. And 10 divided by 5, you get a 2. Thereby having every heap containing 12 oranges. So it's a dozen of oranges that constitute each heap, and that is the way we find the number of oranges. You find the number of oranges. As we move on, example number 5. Daniel went to the shop and bought the following items. Daniel went to the shop and bought the following items. Bought 3 bars of soap at 4,500 shillings per bar. So then go to counter books at 3,000 shillings per book. Then 500 grams of omo at 8,000 shillings per kilogram. Now, question is, if you had 50,000 shillings, what was his change? What was his change? First of all, you must know what the word change means. Change is that amount of money one goes back home with after spending some money. So the amount of money that remains after spending is called change. Now, we want to know the amount that was paid by Daniel per item. The first item is soap. Here you must note the word per. Here you see per bar. It's the same as for every single. So for a single bar. So every bar or 1 bar costs this, Daniel, 4,500 shillings. But there are 3 bars. That's why I write soap and do multiply. Whenever you see the word per, you multiply. If it's not there, then you take that amount as the payment for that particular item. Now, so there are 3 bars, so we multiply because each bar costs this man, Daniel, 4,500 shillings. So that's 4,500 shillings times 3. Multiply 3 by 0, 0. Another 0, 0, then 3 times 5. You get 15, write 5 in group 1. 3 times 4 is a 12 plus 1 gets 13. So for soap alone as an item, this Daniel paid 13,500 shillings. Then we look at another item and see 2 counter books at 3,000 shillings per book. 2 counter books at 3,000 shillings per book. So because of the word per, still we multiply 3,000 by 2 to get the amount of money this Daniel paid for only counter books. So write counter books, that is 3,000 shillings times 2. Multiply 2 times 0 is 0, 0, 0, and 3 times 2. And 2 times 3 get 6. So Daniel paid 6,000 shillings for the 2 counter books. Then the next item is omo, so 500 grams of omo at 8,000 shillings per kilogram. Again, you need to multiply because of the word per. But now see, we have got kilograms and grams. So the seller is selling omo in kilograms, but the buyer has demanded in grams. So since we have got 2 different units, that's grams and kilograms, we take the unit in which the seller is doing the selling of their omo. So the omo is sold in kilograms, and therefore the buyer must also be compliant. The buyer must ask for the quantity in kilograms. So you must then know how many grams make a kilogram. Oh, you responded well. It is 1,000 grams. So, you see, these are just nearly 500 grams, which are yet to make 1,000, which make a full kilogram. If that's true, this is going to be a fractional kilogram. So this is just part of 1,000. So write 500 out of 1,000. You know where thousands come from now, times the cost of every kilogram. So write omo here. You say 1 kilogram is of 1,000 grams. Then if that's true, get 500 out of 1,000. That is converted to kilograms already now. So then times 8,000 shillings. Then do your cancellations by 10, by 10, by 10, by 10, by 10, by 10. You remain with 500 times 8, where 5 times 8 you get 40. And add the 2 zeros, so that both 3 zeros in total now. So Daniel paid 4,000 shillings for that half a kilogram of omo. Half a kilogram is constituted by 500 grams. So that's 500 out of 1,000. It makes a half of a full kilogram. So a half of 8,000 is 4,000 shillings. So that's the payment that was effected by this Daniel onto the item omo. And now remember, one requires you to find the change. And I say change realized when you get what one had at the beginning before buying an item, and then take away the amount of money in total one has spent on all the items. So therefore we have an obligation, or we have a compulsory thing to be done here called total expenditure. So find the total expenditure. Find the amount of money this Daniel spent in total, and then later subtract from what he took before, or he had before spending. So we go. So on soap alone, he spent 13,500 shillings. Write it down here. Then you go counter books. He spent 6,000 shillings. Write it here. Then you find out omo. He spent 4,000 shillings. So put them together through addition and in their corresponding place values, please. And then add like I am adding. So 0 plus 0 plus 0, you get a 0. So add these zeros, and then 5 plus 0 plus 0, you get a 5. 3 plus 6, you get a 9, plus 4, you get a 13. You then write 3 and regroup 1 onto the next place value, where 1 plus 1 is a 2. So Daniel spent 23,500 shillings altogether. But remember, this is not your change. The examiner asks for the change. So find the change through subtraction. Remember, this Daniel had a 50,000 shilling note before spending. Now he has spent 23,500 shillings off that amount. Now, how much does he have to take home? So you say change, that's 50,000 shillings minus 23,500 shillings. And now you subtract normally and manually. Don't use anything to do the calculator. Please, let's subtract. Then we borrow where necessary, and then we shall be deemed knowledgeable. So we go 0 minus 0 is 0, 0 minus 0 is 0. And now, what is 0 minus 5 is only possible after borrowing. Remember, we are dealing with base 10. So whatever we borrow is in tens. So 0 minus 5, there is a necessity to borrow, and the neighbor, unfortunately, has 0 as well. So we go to the next extreme neighbor, who is a 5, and now lends us 1 of those 5, remains with 4, and that 1 is of weight. It has got a weight of 10. That base. So 10 plus 0. So we put it to this neighbor that does not have anything. So 10 plus 0 get a 10. Then he lends us now 1 remains with a 9. So then the 1 we have borrowed is also equivalent to 10. So 10 plus 0 get a 10 now. We subtract normally. 10 minus 5 is a 5. 9 minus 3 is a 6. Then 4 minus 2 is a 2. So thereby taking home an amount equivalent to 26,500 shillings that day after buying those 3 items of soap, counter book, as well as the omo. That's how we prepare the bill, and then thereafter find the change. Remember, change the difference between the amount of money one had at the beginning before buying any item and one's total expenditure. So that is how we find the change. And then look at the last example. In case the bill is tabulated, is given in table form. Let's see how one deals with a tabulated kind of bill. So now, start the table below, which shows Kato's shopping bill. Kato's shopping bill, and then complete it accordingly. So complete the table below. So I've got item, quantity, unit cost, and amount. Item is that particular thing one has chosen to buy. Then quantity, it is how many or how much one has chosen to buy that particular item. Unit cost means the amount of money each item costs. That's unit cost. Like 1 kilogram cost, that's a unit cost. Like a liter cost, that's a liter of any liquid. So that's a unit cost. Then amount is that amount, or is that amount of money one pays for a particular item. So that is the column for the amount. So we then start. Now you must know that we use two operations to complete the table majorly. One, multiplication operation. Two, division operation. Then the only one that we add is the total expenditure. This last one, the total expenditure is computed through addition of the different amounts that are produced per item. So it's the only one that's exceptionally bringing in the element of addition, but the rest are only formed by multiplication as well as division, depending on which gap is actually shown by the examiner. Now, when do we then multiply? We multiply when it is the amount, this amount for a particular item that's missing, like it is for soda here. So we shall multiply in case we are missing an amount for that particular item. Then the rest of the two, that's quantity and unit cost, we do divide to find them. Like for bread quantity, please, to get the loaves of bread, you are going to divide. And here, to get the sugar unit cost, that's the cost of 1 kilogram of sugar, please, you are going to divide. Now, the question is, what do we multiply to get the amount here? It is quantity times unit cost, you get amount. Quantity times unit cost, you get amount. Whereas here, amount divided by unit cost, you get quantity. And again, amount divided by the quantity, you get a unit cost. So these middle ones here are formed by division. Then this last gap here for amount, if it is a gap, that is formed by multiplication. The exceptional one is total expenditure, which is by way of addition. So you must then know when you do what. And now we start. So soda is missing the amount, and I say the amount is got by multiplying the quantity and the unit cost. So do we multiply? Here it means this Kato bought 4 bottles of soda, each at 1,000 shillings. They are asking for how much he paid for the soda. So we then multiply. If every bottle of soda cost him 1,000 shillings and therefore do multiply to get the amount of money paid for the soda. So it's supposed to be soda here, not soap. So it is soda, and then do multiply 1,000 shillings by 4. 4 times 0 is 0, and then 4 times 1 you get 4. So that you get 4,000 shilling payment for the 4 bottles of soda. So do you fill it in here because you have been asked to come to the table? Don't leave it incomplete. So do you write the 4,000 shillings here. And so doing, you would have started on the journey of completion of that table. And then you go to bread. Ask yourself what's missing. This quantity, I said quantity is got by division of the amount and unit cost. So amount divided by unit cost, you will get a quantity. If that is true, then you will be able to divide. Then we divide. That is 8,000 divided by 4,000. Remember, we need the loaves. So we cancel by 10 by 10. By 10 by 10 by 10 by 10. So by 4 once and 8 divided by 4, you get 2. So this cattle bought 2 loaves of bread. So do you fit it in here? So write R2 and that's all. So bought 2 loaves of bread each at 4,000 shillings, thereby paying 8,000 shillings for the bread that day. Then finally, we answer the gap for sugar. Where is the gap? At the unit cost. I said unit cost got by division as well of the amount divided by the quantity. So sugar, the cost of 1 kilogram of sugar, if you bought a 30 kilogram at 3,000 shillings. So we then get 3,000 shillings divided by a third. 3,000 shillings divided by a third. Then that 3,000 shillings times the reciprocal of a third, which is 3. If you want to say out of the 1, so that you reciprocate properly, and now multiply 3,000 by 3. So a full kilogram of sugar costs 9,000 shillings. So do you write here 9,000? And so doing, you will have done the completion of the table, but you are only left with this exceptional gap, which is total expenditure. Like the word total suggests, the total is got by addition. Whatever you total up, you just know you are going to add. We get a total computed through addition. Total up. So get a sum of the entire money here. So get your expenditure here. So add all these amounts. That's 4,000 shillings plus 8,000 shillings plus 3,000 shillings. You will then get what he paid in total for all the items that he bought that day. Put a plus sign of addition for when you forget, then we shall fail to know. And what will be desired that is if you don't show the plus sign of addition. Many parentheses, so must you write. So go 0 plus 0 plus 0 is a 0. All these zeros make a 0. All these zeros in that line make a 0. Then 4 plus 8 is a 12 plus 3 is 15. So this cattle paid 15,000 shillings for all the items. So do you fit it in here? Because you said that so that it is fully complete. So write the 3 zeros here. So that is 15,000 shilling total expenditure. And then finally, we have the question here. Find the change if Kato had a 20,000 shilling note. If Kato had a 20,000 shilling note, like I've observed and noted in the example before, change is got by getting the difference between the amount of money one had at the beginning and the total expenditure. So I say difference is the result after subtracting 2 numbers. So here we subtract 15,000 shillings from the 20,000 shillings for Kato had a 20,000 shilling note before buying any item. Then from which he paid 15,000 shilling total expenditure for these 3 items of soda, bread and sugar. So we get our 10,000 shillings minus 15,000 shilling total expenditure. And then do we align it vertically? Please note in the place values. And then we subtract as required. So put a minus sign of subtraction. It will reward you a method for if it's not there, then you shall learn what to do here. So it gives us what to do. What are we going to do? We are going to subtract what shows we are going to subtract. It's a minus sign of subtraction. So do we subtract 0 minus 0 is 0, 0 minus 0 is 0, 0 minus 0 is a 0, and now I've got 0 minus 5. Only possible is it after borrowing From a 2, remember we're dealing with base 10. Whatever we borrow is given to 10. So remain with 1 and has got a weight of base 10. Where 10 plus 1 you get a 10, and then 10 minus 5 you get a 5. And 1 minus 1 is a 0, which is never written. Because information of whole numbers, like we did in first term, we are not allowed to form any whole number starting with a 0. So never say 5,000 shillings in my pocket. No, that cannot work. So this man Kato went home with 5,000 shillings, having spent 15,000 shillings altogether off his 20,000 shilling note he had at first. So that's what is done, and that will be done forever and ever. Let me hope you know how to respond. So now that you have responded, that is about money. We are still embarking on the same journey of money, because interesting it is to talk about money. Whoever doesn't want money, please must leave the planet Earth. Try Jupiter. So I'm teacher Katimbo Richard, that has taught you that much. For more information about the same mathematics, please reach me on 2 lines: 1-0776-251655 and 2-07572-33066. Remember, COVID-19 is real, so stay safe.